this is Felicia with The Book is Done. I am back for the third book that I read for November. This book that I am going to talk about, the the first book that I read of this author was the newest book that had just been released when I had finally written about or read about him. And it's like now I'm trying to play catch up and reading everything else. I think I only have three more books that I have of his, and then I'll be ready for the new book that he's releasing in June. This book right here, Home Before Dark, Riley Sager. Let me tell you something. This man right here, the book that I read, The Only One Left, that's his most recent book that he came out, I want to say in April or May of this year. I can't remember. That book, along with Black Cake by Charlene Wilkerson, I believe, hands down one of the five-star books that I have read all year. The Only One Left. My goodness. That book, one of the best books that I've read in years, y'all. Years. So this book right here, Home Before Dark. Home Before Dark was good. If y'all are not too keen to like supernatural, I wouldn't say ghost type stuff, but like in one of the other books, The Only One Left, he talks about a Ouija board. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I don't do none of it. I don't believe in it. I know that a lot of people believe that it's real, or feel that it's real, or know that it's real. I can only speak for me. I don't do it. But in this book right here, Home Before Dark, this book, standalone book, none of his books, I believe, are series books. And so 25 years ago, it was this couple and their young child, Ewan and Jess. They were the dad and mom, and they had Maggie. They moved into this house called Bainbury Hall, which is this huge, huge house with a dark history in Vermont. And when I say huge, huge history, like a family, like different people, different members of the family have been murdered in this house. And so it just has this whole bad juju, if you will, about the house. And people are just like, no, we're going to stay away from it. So 25 years ago, the three of them, Maggie was 5 at the time, when she moved into this house. They moved into this house and legit lived in this house for 3 weeks. And then they were out. They didn't care. They just left in the middle of the night. And in them leaving, shortly after they left, her dad, Ewan, or Ewan, 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 Ewan. I guess, child, listen, y'all figure it out. But he was an author. He was a writer. And so, and this was before they moved into the house. And so, this house is like, it's like a mansion. It's like an old school mansion. And it's massive. It's like 3 stories high. It's on huge property grounds. It's surrounded by like this huge fence, or a gate. I don't know what you call it. It's like walls, that surrounds this house. And, the house was practically free. And so they were just like, we poured all of our money into buying this house, even though we got it for free. We still don't have money to move. And so things started happening in the house, like some supernatural stuff. Lights was on, lights flickered on, flickered off. You'll feel a wind, you hear some knocks, some spooky stuff that was going on. And then it was like ghosts and stuff, unexplainable things that were happening in the house. And Ewan and Jess realized that their daughter Maggie was starting to do like some scary type stuff. Like, she only child, so they were wanting her to get friends and things of this nature. And the house came with some help, if you will. When I say help, people that, like, it was a gatekeeper, a groundskeeper. It was him, and I believe ultimately either his son or his grandson that took care of the grounds. And then it was this other woman and her 2 young daughters. They came in and they would, clean the house, take care of the house, because it was a big house. And so in their leaving, in Ewan and Jess and Maggie leaving, shortly after they left, Ewan wrote a book. He wrote a nonfiction book called The House of Horrors that basically explained everything as to what was going on, as to why they left. And so, even though it was nonfiction, people were like, oh, we don't believe this. There's no way it's real. He becomes this huge sensation. And so 25 years later, Maggie is all grown up, and she's just pissed off. She's just like, this book that my dad wrote pretty much ruined my life, because, and she doesn't believe in anything that happened in the book with the ghosts and the things that she did and said. She doesn't believe any of it. So um, her mom and her dad had gotten a divorce shortly after, I believe, they left. Maybe it was like a year or two after. And then mom had remarried, and then dad had gotten sick. Ewan had gotten sick with cancer, I believe, and he passed away. And this is like towards the beginning of the book, after it explains like that they were there and they left. And so shortly after he passed, Maggie is one who renovates houses. And so her and this other young lady, they're partners, and they renovate houses. And so after the service, the mom didn't want anything. Maggie had to go sit with the attorney, just to kind of get all of the final wishes in order. And the lawyer tells her that she is now the owner of Bainbury Hall. And she was like, "What are you talking about? We don't own that house anymore." And he's like, "Your dad never sold it." And she's like, "What? Like, nobody, no, I can't even talk." The three of them didn't even step foot back into that house ever. After they left, after that first 3 weeks, they did not return back to the house. So Maggie thought that as she got older and things of that nature, with the success of the book and all this kind of stuff, they were getting by. She thought that with everything, that the book has said and, mentioned that he had sold the house, he never sold the house. And so she goes to this house, and it's just like, I'm just gonna just get rid of everything. There are no ghosts here. The stuff that happened in my dad's book is not real. It didn't happen. She's just mad. She was like, I'm going to come up in here and renovate the house, and I'm just going to sell it. So her mom was like, don't go in the house. Like, Maggie would try and talk to her parents about it, and they would shut her down. They didn't want to talk about what happened. They were just like, everything that was said in that book happened. It is real. Maggie was like, man, this is some foolishness. It didn't happen. Y'all won't even talk to me about it. Like, it's not real. And so, in all things, Maggie learned a whole lot. She did go back to the house, and she said, when she got to the house, she felt all the chills, and she didn't feel right and things of that nature. But she still don't believe that things in the book happen. So, in all things, read the book. It was a good book. The history that was in the house, because it talks about who killed who. Like, a father had killed his daughter, and then somebody else had killed it was just a mess, but it was all like within family. So Ewan, Jess, and Maggie, they were not related to anybody in the house. They just so happened to come across this great deal. And so definitely read the book. Let me know what your thoughts are. I am a huge Riley Sager fan. Anything that he releases is on auto buy for me. And so definitely feel free to check it out. Let me know what your thoughts are. This is Felicia with The Book Is Done, and I'm on to the next one.